All right, good evening. If you are watching this, you must be in +1 supervision group sessions. And so I am going to give you a pretty quick overview of what we call the CARES form, CARES. There should be a link in your agenda to the CARES form. I am going to share it with you here, show you what it looks like. It is the form that we use for feedback after presentations and trainings. And so I want to go over this with you guys. You will have a link to this in the group supervision folder. So anytime that you're in group and somebody's doing a presentation, you pull this up, you make a copy of it, somehow designate that, which peer it's for or what the date is, then make sure over here that when you share it, that you put whoever you're sharing it with, because otherwise you end up saving it somewhere. And when you make your copy, you have to share it. Otherwise, the peer who you've provided the feedback for can't actually open your form and see it. So we're going to talk about CARES and what this stands for. So when somebody does a presentation, the C is congratulate, right? So what do they do well in this assignment? And you can list more than one aspect. Also write their main claim or their main focus according to what you heard. So typically I ask that you guys give learner objectives, and this is what I'm going to be talking about tonight. So those types of things would go under congratulate, and then something that they did that you thought was great. Use of technology, improving your speaking, great examples, non-examples, loved the role play, right? Some type of congratulation. Then the A is ask a clarifying question and perhaps make a suggestion, right? So clarifying questions. This is something that was spoken about in the presentation that you want more information on. This is not new information yet. So if I say, hey, I'm going to talk to you about pairing tonight, and I give you 7 different things that you can do to pair with your client or with a parent, and there's part of it that I'm like, I didn't quite get that. I might say, hey, tell me about that 5th idea again. Tell me a little bit more about how that works. Can I get another example? Right? And then if you have a specific suggestion for revising that unclear part of the presentation. So maybe if they're talking about step 5 is, I don't know what, establish yourself as the giver of all good things. And that's not what the article talks about, but it's what Jenny can think about right now. And you're saying, okay, but tell me again how that might be. And they say, well, you get to hold the cookie, and the child, all they have to do is come close to you and you hand them parts of cookies or whatever their preferred item is for the day, to see if that's an actual reinforcer so that you become a conditioned reinforcer, right? And so then the suggestion would be, oh, well, maybe a role play or maybe a more specific example would have been helpful. So that's your suggestion for revising that unclear part of the presentation. Then the R is where you get to actually request more. So this is what would you like to know more about the topic? So the asking clarifying questions above, this is about something that was there. The R is request more. What more would you like to know about this topic? So not necessarily even what they could do better, but tell me more about step 6, or tell me more about that number 7 thing. So things that can enhance the presentation and support the topic or the goal. And then E is evaluate the value of the presentation. So if under congratulation, their main claim was, I'm going to tell you the 7 steps to pair with a client, then under evaluate, you would say, did they do that? Right? Did they include all 7 steps? And then were there extra things that seemed to not go along with the 7 steps? Were there also ABC something that, I don't know, was how to train your dog? I have no idea, making this up, right? So that would go under evaluate. Did they meet the learner objectives? Did they say what they were going to do? And was there extra information that could have been weeded out? And then S is summarize. So a statement saying, you know, overall, this was the new information that I learned. This is how I'm thinking differently about how to pair those 7 ideas that you presented. So in group, when you guys do this, when a peer is presenting, you will do this peer feedback form as they are presenting. You can have this printed out and you can scribble on it, whatever you want as you go along. Then in group also, we're going to go through this and you'll see that you would be assigned to present the C section of feedback to the peer and maybe the E section of feedback to the peer. So that you get opportunities to actually provide the feedback, not just collect it on the form. If you do it handwritten, take a snapshot of it, scan it with your phone, upload it back to the drive, and then we link these into the bottom of the group supervision agenda for the evening where we take our notes so that your peer can then find and have access to the form. And these are other resources that probably were already in your agenda for the evening. Okay, so that was a really quick overview. I'm going to see if I can find a completed CARES form and attach it somehow in your agenda. All right, thanks so much for watching tonight. Bye-bye.